Jason and the Golden Fleece, also known as Jason and the Argonauts. The story starts with the Golden Fleece being placed on Colchis. Long, long ago, the king of Thessaly, Athamas, put his wife, Nephele, aside so he could marry a younger woman. Nephele feared that her husband's new wife would harm her children, daughter Helle and son Phrixus. Nephele prayed to Zeus to help her, and Zeus told Hermes to send the queen in distress a flying golden ram. This ram was to transport the children to a friendly kingdom, and with the children on its back, the ram flew east, across the strait separating Europe and Asia. Helle fell from the back of the ram and into the sea, and the place where she fell was called the Hellespont, but is now called the Dardanelles. Phrixus and the ram arrived at Colchis, on the eastern shore of the Black Sea. Phrixus sacrificed the ram to Zeus, and then gave the fleece to Aeetes, the king of Colchis. Aeetes placed the fleece in a sacred grove, where it was guarded by a dragon who never slept. Around the same time that Nephele sent her children away, King Aeson of Iolcus, another kingdom in Thessaly, surrendered his throne to his ambitious brother Pelias. Some say Pelias usurped the throne, while others say that Aeson grew tired of the responsibilities and willingly gave the throne to his brother. Aeson's only condition was that his throne be given to his son, Jason, when Jason came of age. Whatever happened, though, Pelias did not intend to give up the throne. Jason's mother did not trust Pelias and sent Jason away to be raised in secret by the centaur Chiron. Pelias was a harsh, suspicious ruler, but had no fear of his subjects overthrowing him. He only feared the prophecy that told of a single-sandaled stranger causing his death. When Jason came of age, he was told about his right to rule Iolcus, and he set out to claim his rightful throne. On his way there, on the bank of a river, an old woman begged him to help her cross. Taking her on his back, Jason began to swim across the river. The swift current swept a single sandal off of his foot, and the old woman, who had seemed incredibly light when he had first picked her up, grew a lot heavier with every stroke. When Jason finally reached the other side of the river, he was exhausted. He set the woman down, but the woman he set down was young and beautiful. The woman was the goddess Hera, who had disguised herself as an old woman to see if Jason was deserving of her guidance. The queen of gods found that indeed he was. When Jason arrived at the court of Pelias, Pelias was doubly distressed. Jason claimed to be the son of Aeson, and he was wearing a single sandal. Pelias pretended to welcome his nephew, and suggested that Jason do a little traveling before he took up the throne. Pelias suggested a noble quest. The suggestion of a noble quest appealed to the brave young man, so he asked what sort of deed he should perform. Pelias told his nephew that King Aeetes of Colchis had actually stolen the Golden Fleece, and Jason should return it to Greece. Pelias lied to get rid of Jason, who did not know that the fleece really did belong to Aeetes and Colchis, and not Greece. The master shipwright Argus was hired by Jason to build a ship large enough to hold 50 of the bravest, strongest, most noble warriors, and that could endure a perilous journey. The ship was called Argo, named after the man who built it, and the men who sailed on it were called Argonauts. Men flocked to Iolcus for the opportunity to go on the great and dangerous adventure. They knew it would be long, and the chances of success were slim, but if they did succeed, the honor and fame would far outweigh any cons in the matter. Hercules was part of the crew for a while, but did not stay with the Argonauts for very long. During their voyage, the Argonauts encountered many adventures, including meeting King Phineus, who was starving because he was plagued by creatures who had the bodies of chickens and the heads of women, who attacked him every time he tried to eat. These creatures were called harpies, and 2 of the Argonauts chased them away from Phineus forever. To show how grateful he was to them, Phineus told the Argonauts how to sail through the great clashing rocks that blocked the entrance to the Black Sea. Any ship that tried to pass through them would be smashed to bits. As the Argonauts approached these rocks, they released a dove, which flew through the rocks, getting only its tail feathers pinched. The Argonauts sailed quickly through, receiving minor damage. Jason told King Aeetes that he had come for the Golden Fleece when the Argonauts arrived at Colchis. The king was annoyed but did not show his annoyance to Jason. Instead, Eetses told Jason that he could earn the fleece by proving his courage and strength. Jason's tasks were to harness a pair of bulls, sow, and then harvest a field before sundown. Jason accepted, but was deeply dismayed when he saw the enormous, fire-breathing bulls with the razor-sharp hooves. Hera still favored Jason and told Aphrodite to have her son Eros shoot an arrow into the heart of Medea, King Eetses' daughter. When struck by the arrow, Medea fell instantly in love with Jason. Medea was a beautiful princess, but she was also a powerful sorceress. That night, Medea went to Jason and gave him a vial of magic oil, which would protect him from the sharp hooves of the bulls as well as their fire breath. The next day, Jason fearlessly approached the bulls and harnessed them. The bulls were extremely powerful, so Jason quickly sowed the bag of seed he had been given. Jason was just focused on getting the job done, so he didn't realize that the seeds were actually dragon's teeth. From each of the sown teeth, an armed warrior sprang up. The oil Medea had given him gave Jason partial protection from the warriors, but even as he killed as many as he could, more sprang up. Jason became too tired to battle, so Medea decided to help again. She tossed a rock into the mass of dragon-toothed people, and it hit the back of the head of one of the men. He thought that his neighbor had hit him, so he killed his neighbor. More men became involved in the brawl, and Medea threw more rocks into the mix. The dragon warriors fought with each other until none were left. Medea knew her father would never allow Jason to take the Golden Fleece, so that night Medea led Jason to the sacred grove where the sleepless dragon guarded the prize he desired. When they were near the dragon, Medea uncorked a small container filled with a powerful sleeping potion. As the fumes reached the dragon, it fell into an immediate deep sleep. Once the dragon was taken care of, Jason snatched the fleece. Jason, Medea, and the Argonauts sailed away from Colchis. The Argo was pursued by Eetses, but Medea had been expecting this. Earlier, she had persuaded her younger brother to join them. When their father started to follow them, Medea murdered and dismembered her brother and threw his body parts overboard. Eetses stopped his pursuit to gather the remains of his son. Jason and Medea returned to Iolcus and got married. There, Jason begged Medea to use her magic to take years from his own life and add them to Aeson's, who had grown very old and weak. Medea refused to shorten Jason's life, but could easily add years to his father's. Medea cut up an old ram, threw it into a large pot, and recited an incantation. A young lamb leapt out of the pot. Aeson witnessed this magical remedy and nervously allowed his daughter-in-law to chop him up. She placed his remains in the pot, said the magic words, and Aeson stepped out of the pot, tall and young. The daughters of Pelias witnessed the sorcery act, as Medea had planned, so they would ask her to do the same thing for their father. They knew their father wouldn't agree, so they gave him a sleeping potion that Medea had prepared. With their father asleep, the girls cut their father up. Once he was dead, Medea threw his body parts into the pot. Instead of saying the magic words, Medea walked away and left the horrified women to watch the body of their father boil. Now Jason was king of Iolcus. He and Medea lived happily together for 10 years, and in that time they had 2 sons together. They did not live happily ever after, though, and the story of Jason and Medea continues, but this is where our story ends. The lives of Jason and Medea seemed plagued by heartache and death, but at this time in their lives they were in love and had everything they wanted and could ask for. Some fun facts. The front of the ship was called the Dodana and was said to be enchanted, and it protected the Argonauts on their journey. On their voyage, the Argonauts also encountered an island of beautiful, murderous women. Jason was from Greece, and Colchis is thought to be in the current country of Georgia. Thanks for watching! Voiceover is done by Amanda Borowski. My sources.